Hello YouTube and welcome back to Benel's Gaming KSP. As I said in the last video, I've gone on a little bit and I've done a few other missions, got a bit more funds to get and a little bit more science, as you'll see shortly. I also did something that I didn't say I was going to do. I went around a few different biomes and I picked up a little bit more science from them using a rover, which I really should have built with you guys and shown you just to give you an idea of what they are and how they work. It's not a traditional rover in the sense it doesn't use electric power or anything like that. Where is it? Science Rover Mark 1, I think that's it. We load this up, I'll show you. Yep, here we go. Here's the rover. As you can see, I've used a jet engine, which I kept the oxidizer in, that was a whoopsie. We've used a little jet engine, tiny little fuel tank, and we've got on here our thermometer, our goo canister, and our junior science bay, and a battery just for a little bit more electric charge. And I found something out, or I discovered something. The reason I made a rover and did this was because I was doing one of the missions and it blew up on the runway. I was a bit of a tit and set it up wrong. And I discovered something which I'm going to show you all now. First things first, you don't want to go too fast with these things. They careen off course very, very quickly and will crash and blow up, and you've wasted your time. What I did was, from the launch pad, I actually crashed, had an abort sequence, which is something I wanted to show in the next video, so I was just practicing. Which I will go through. I had an abort sequence and the pod landed right next to the VAB, although I don't need to show you there. Let's whack these brakes on. This here is the spaceplane hangar. Okay, this is a different biome. This is a whole fresh biome. Every single one of these, the buildings like mission control, the tracking station, the VAB, the spaceplane hangar, they're all different biomes. So what I was able to do, if I right click here, we won't get anything for this because obviously we've already done it. We got 7.5 science. Perhaps I didn't do spaceplane hangar. Thought I did. Obviously not. Material study from spaceplane hangar. So I kept that data. I observed the mystery goo. We kept that data. Well, perhaps I didn't do this. We'll do a log temperature. I clearly didn't, otherwise it wouldn't be giving me any science. And a crew report, which we'll take, and now we'll do an EVA and we'll get one. As I said, look, he's hanging off the edge, so he's flying over Kerbal Shores, which we've already got, so that's fine. But if we come backwards out of this and he'll stand up, we take an EVA report on top of this. It's an EVA report from the spaceplane hangar. We get some more science. So yeah, again, I don't know, you argue it's cheating, it might be, it might not. But that's what I did. And what I did was I also took our scientists. I used our scientists to do this. So when he EVA'd, I came out, collected the data from here, from here, from here, recessed all the experiments, and just drove off to the next biome. So yeah, sneaky bit of science. I think it was 16 science ago. So if you are, trying to build up, yeah, 16.8 science. There we go. I mean, look, we've got 236 science because I got the 16 science from all these different things, plus the stuff we had, plus some from doing some more test missions and things like that. So what I was thinking would do ever so quickly is I'll dive into the VAB and show you the abort sequences. Yeah, sorry, the abort sequence. Let's just load a rocket rather than, don't save that. Let's load a craft, the Javelin Mark 5, let's load that up, and the abort sequence, how it works. Action group, abort. Now, when you're flying, I'll show you in a second, you have a abort button on top, just below the recover vessel button. And what that'll do at any stage is it will, no matter what your staging is, it will cancel that out, or rather it won't cancel it out, it's a whole new action group. So what I did was added that to decouple to the abort group. Okay, it was literally just for that to decouple and for that to deploy. Okay, so what I do was set that up, clicked on that, and away we go. Alright, that was the action group set up. So if we go out to the test site, so the test site to the launch pad, and I can't remember, there is a shortcut for the abort. I wasn't sure what it was. Oh, I can't remember what it was. It's got that weird bug again. Why is it? And it's gone onto the sun. Right, okay, so revert flight to launch. Okay, at least we could revert it that time. I don't know if any of you watched the earlier videos, but that happened to us before. Here we go, look, massive zoomed out. I'm not sure what's going on there. And, oh, we're straight back to the rover. Okie doke, revert flight. No, that's just, yeah, vehicle assembly. It's reversing to vehicle assembly, and yet we were on there. Very strange. Okie doke. Staging's broken on this one, as you can see. Not sure what's going on there. That's quite disappointing. Okay. Oh, hang on, isn't the Javelin Mark V the one we had all the problems with? Oh, crikey. Mark 6. The Mark 6. All of this just to show you something. Welcome back to Benno Rules being rubbish. Yeah, look, I stopped myself from swearing. So let's put a new abort sequence in. So into action groups. Let's get nice and close. Onto the abort stage. We click on that, we click on decouple, we click on, yeah, come on, you can do this, yeah, that's in there. We click on that, we click deploy, we click on that, we click deploy, and we click on that. Oh no, not that, that. Oh, perhaps it did both of them for us because they're, we'll find out soon enough. I'm pretty sure that's just selected both of them by clicking on that. Yeah, it did. So that's there, that's done. Okay, so that's that. Decouple, deploy, deploy. Excellent. Obviously, Mark II radio. We'll find out. We'll find out. So we go straight ahead and launch this, and I'll show you where the abort button is. I'm not sure why I'm flapping or flapping with this, but because I got it to work perfectly last time. But not to worry, not to worry. So abort. Here it is, the abort button. So we press that, that's just deployed both of our chutes. Let's just have a double check. Yeah, both of those chutes deployed, and that's decoupled. So that's how I managed to find out about the other biomes. Completely by accident, but setting up an abort sequence. But, you know, it's there. I'm going to use that in future. Dare I say it, we're very nearly at the stage where we shall no longer be reverting flights, which is why I went through the abort process. It's scary. I'm not too fond of the idea of doing it. But it's got to be done. I said I would do it, and do it I shall. As you can see, funds up to 725, science to 236. So now we've got a decision to make, and this is not a decision to be made easily. Actually, I'm going to come out of there. I lied. We are going to spend that money. We're going to upgrade this. Now you see, Kerbal EVAs can now collect surface samples. Okay, which is fantastic. The research science limit will be 500, which means it'll open up further tech trees for us. And resource transfer is available. I'm still not going to go through research transfer yet, because I'm going to say I don't see the point of it. It's so minimal, and it can have such a detrimental effect on your reputation and this, that, and t'other. So yeah, not overly sure about what we're going to do, or how I'm going to come across how I'm going to go about explaining all this to you. But I will do. Eventually I'll get there. So we're going to upgrade our tracking station. So that's done, which means patch conics will now be flight planning is patch conics will now be available to us, which we're going to go through. Yeah, patch conics are visible in map, and this one to upgrade the tech tree. There we go. We're down to 125,000 science. You'll notice they get bigger. They look better. Yeah, those two, it's changed how they look. We're quite close to having everything upgraded for the facility level 2. That's still level 1 because it's a space blade, and I'm no good at it. As you see, I'm just totally lucky with my first blade. I cannot believe it worked, but it did nonetheless. So let's head over into mission control. We've got 2 active missions: to explore the moon and to fly by the moon. Now, science data from space around Kerbin, we can pick that up and do a quick crew report, which we'll transmit from Kerbin. So we'll pick that up and get ourselves around 25,000 funds, which should pay for most of the rocket. So we're going to go ahead and take that. We are not going to take any of the missions for taking Kerbals with us or anything for our first run, although suborbital orbit Oh, there's just nothing. We've got one here for the moon, didn't we? No. Oh, perhaps not. No, I'm just getting a bit carried away with myself. I don't want to be taking scientists because I want to try and minimise the weight of the vehicle or the rocket as much as possible. The other argument is that I use a probe to complete the mission. Get back into the R&D department. Down here, miniaturisation, electrics, we have a probe here, and if you look on the right hand side as this comes up, it has SAS, which means effectively we could use a we don't have to use a pilot, we could just take a craft up. So what we could do is build our orbital stage, then we could build a transfer stage, and then we need to build a lander stage, which we would then use to not only land on the moon but to come back again, all without a pilot. But I do want to do, and I don't want to do it. I do want to do it in the sense that it'll get us there and get a few bits of the missions done and a bit more science, and that's all fantastic. But I don't want to do it because I really want to take a Kerbal up. I've never bothered with probes in the past unless I was doing satellites for the science versions of the game that were slowly released. For satellites and unmanned probes and stations and things. I really want to take a Kerbal up. I think it would be crazy not to at least show you that. So what I'm going to do is something quite possibly silly, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the first fuel option, which is going to give us fuel lines, which I may even cover off asparagus staging. And the second one we're going to take is the heavy rocketry. And this will give us the bigger engines and bits like that. So we'll have bigger fuel tanks, bigger engines, and the ability, hopefully, to get a bit further out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. A little bit risky, but I've done it now. There we go. Science spent. Can't go back now. Job's done. So let's get into the VAB and let's have a look at these new parts that we've got and see if they'll have any kind of effects or what kind of effect they'll have on what we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build ourselves a landing stage. And that is a stage that we are going to use to land on the moon, theoretically. That will be the plan. That's what we want to do. So, as usual, we're going to take up all of the science experiments that we'd need. I don't know why I've done that. We're going to take 4 goo canisters, because there's loads of different places in which we can do the experiments and get valid science for them. So we get 4 of those on there. We're going to get 4 of the thermometers. I may forget to do the experiments throughout the mission, and if I do, then feel free to shout at the screen and accept my apologies straight away. It's going to happen. It's me. You guys know what I'm like. Yeah, enough said. We're going to get out below this, and we're going to pop on here the service bay. Is it the service bay? Yeah, the service bay. Just so that we can take our batteries up and not have them explode, which will be nice. Because that scared the bejesus out of me the first time that happened. So let's get our batteries on there and flip those round. I would have thought they'd have made that work a bit better, but it is what it is. You have to flip them round with the W key to get them to sit on it properly, otherwise they're going to be sticking out the bottom and may even still explode. So we have got our communications, we've got parachutes for re-entry, we've got the service bay, the science, and our heat shield and decoupler. Now, because this is the stage that's going to be landing on the moon, we want to give this a bit more fuel. But doesn't that mean it's going to be more unstable in flight, I hear you say? Yeah, it does. That's exactly what it means. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether or not I can pull this off. Again, we shall just have to wait and see. Let's get those down a bit further. So we'll pop 2 of those on the side. And then what we're going to do is these fuel lines. I'm going to show you these quickly. We're going to pop a fuel line from here just to here. Okay, and what that'll do, if I can get it to zoom in, you'll see a little arrows on this here. Now they don't look great like that, but what that means is fuel is transferring, as you can see the arrows are pointing this way, from here into here. So these will slowly empty, or will probably empty first into here, and then this will empty. Now what that means is that at no point will the mass change from this. So if it didn't do this, basically, if I tried to pump it all into there, if the engine was burning, this one would get lighter, the rocket would tilt over. So this just stops that from happening, okay? Or at least that's the idea behind it. Whether or not it works, well, we shall see. So let's get our little engine underneath that. Again, we're going to be using this little Terrier engine. Very, very efficient engine, so we like it. It's good. Let's get some nipples on this, some there, and then we'll pop some underneath as well. Right, he says. Pop those under there. And now, back into utility, we're going to get our landing legs. Now obviously, I'm sure you're all aware, these are rather important. We do need these on here, so that we can land. And let's just right click them and extend them so you can see that they are just, we are literally talking a few mil, or probably a couple of hundred in real terms, below the rocket here. So this should land nice and safely. Oh, I just deleted those as I was trying to drag around. So again, we're using the symmetry so we get them right on the cusp of where they can go, like so. In fact, I think those ones are actually a little bit lower than these ones. So let's get these just there. Yep, there we go. They seem to be pretty balanced. Let's just retract these in again, and then oh, wrong button. Well, it wasn't the wrong button. I pressed the right button. I just didn't press it on the right item. So let's get those retracted in, and we're going to pop a couple more on the very edge here, like that. Hopefully that should be nice and stable to land. It's quite simple. Obviously we'll have, who do we reckon sat in here, folks? What a surprise. Good old Bill. We'll get Valentina in there. She got the skills. She's got the skills that we want. So yeah, we've got our science bay, we've got the goo, we've got the thermometers, we've got batteries inside the service bay so that they don't explode, and we've got communitrons so we can go out and do the first experiment when we hit orbit. Right, now to build the stage that's going to transfer from orbit over to the moon, and we welcome our new fuel tank. Okay, as you can see, it's an awful lot bigger. I can't believe I just tried to stick that on there without a decoupler. That would have been a disaster. So that's on there. Let's get a transfer stage. Is 2 of these going to be too much? We've got a lot of weight to take up, and it means the rocket's going to be really long. Yep, sod it. We're going to try this one first. This may be a little bit OTT. It may not. We'll see. Let's just bring this up here a bit. I mean, that's a heck of a transfer stage, which, you know, it's what we want. We do need a good stage for the transfer. It's got to be heavy on the fuel. Essentially, we're going to need a lot of fuel to transfer. Well, I say we need a lot of fuel. You can probably speak to people who played this game an awful lot better than I do that say you don't actually need all that much fuel for a transfer stage. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't care. This is how I'm doing it. Don't like it? Well, you can stop watching. I don't mind. Doesn't bother me. So right, yeah, so that's there. I've been rambling away. Rockomax brand adapter. Okay, this transfers from, I can't remember what the size is. I think it's 1.25 meters to 2.5 meters. So it's literally just a structural piece, nicely shaped as you can see. So it's going to help the aerodynamics when we add on our new fuel tanks. You ready for these? Boom! Look at the size of those. They are flipping huge. Yeah, obviously, if we go to what doesn't say on there. So if I pop that there and pop that there, essentially these are the same style of part, just in a different scale. This one holds itself 90 units of fuel. This one holds itself 720 units of fuel. So as you can see, there's a buttload of fuel in there. Alright, absolutely masses. And on the bottom of this we're going to stick one of our new engines, the Skipper engine. And obviously a much bigger rocket, or much bigger rocket engine with much more thrust. Maximum thrust on the planet, or in an atmosphere, sorry, is 568, whereas our little 45 is 168. So quite a considerable difference, which is brilliant. And now I thought we got bigger rocket, but oh, we did, yes. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this Mama Gemma. This thing is enormous. Now I'm pretty sure this was scaled off of the NASA parts. Pretty sure, could be wrong, It's enormous, it's a beast, lots of thrust, lots of solid fuel. That is what we're going to be using, folks. That's what we're going to use to try and get ourselves up into orbit. So let's get our decouplers on the side of this. Just going to use 2 as we would normally, just to see how this works. I mean, we could see ourselves in some massive issues here, but we won't know until we try. So naturally we're going to try. There they are, there's those connected. Whew, that's a big old rocket. Let's get ourselves a few struts in place to hold things together. Did I not click on struts? Obviously not. From there straight down to there to hold them in place. This should be okay. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to run a strut from here across. No, we're not, because that engine gets in the way. Okay, no, not a problem. We will literally just strut, if I can get right inside this, from about here, and we just onto the back there. Look at that, that's strutted onto those just to help them to help them cling on a little bit better and try and keep things sound. And I'm going to do the same for this. We'll pop a little strut from there onto there like so, and I'll do one underneath as well, just to be on the safe side, right on the nipples there like that. Okay. Oh, nearly forgot more nipples. Nearly, but not quite. So those nipples go on top of there, like that. So that's the aerodynamics sorted. I'm thinking it might not be a bad idea to use some fins on this. I'm thinking this because it's a bloody big rocket, and these have control surfaces. These are the same ones I use on the tail fin as our alpha wing, as I called it. I'm hoping this will make us a little bit more stable as we try and attempt to escape Kerbin's atmosphere with this. Gonna do the first go with you guys, just to show you, just to see if we can do it, and then when it goes wrong, as it undoubtedly will, so I'll just put the inline reaction wheel on there quickly, just to help the stability. Yeah, I'm gonna have a go with this and show you just to see how we get on. I'm gonna thrust limit these. Am I not going to be allowed to thrust? Oh, it's down there, Ben, you tit. Going to thrust limit these to about 69.5. Yep, we'll thrust limit to those. Don't want to be going too fast and rip this thing apart out the atmosphere. I'm hoping that this engine will be strong enough to get us up close to orbit. I'd really like this stage to get us to orbit, so we'll start off by using all 3 engines at the same time, and then we'll limit this one right down until these are burnt out and have taken effect, and then we'll go on to the 45, by which point I'm hoping we're high enough up in the atmosphere for this engine to be a bit more effective than the others. But you know, there's only one way to find out. We could end up not even getting into orbit. I don't know why I'm rambling. Should we just go ahead and launch this bad boy and see what happens? This one is being given a new name. We are naming this one after a comment from one of my subscribers. This one will be known as the Rooster. I know it doesn't look anything like the other one, or in fact what reference he made to my rocket as to why it was called a Rooster. A nice little comment about me saying that I can call these nipples all I want, but the Javelin looks like a giant ... rooster, which I'm pretty sure we all know what he's getting at. Yeah, okay, so rambling again. This is the rocket we're going to use. A tiny bit concerned that this might not be enough fuel for this engine. This engine might just rip through this fuel far too fast. If that's the case, we'll make it a little bit bigger. We'll see what happens. You know, we'll see. We'll see. Not 100% sure. Only one way to find out. Rambling again. Let's get this out onto the launch. Oh, nearly. I think I'm not launching this without stability enhancers. You got another thing coming. Now, are they going to clip through the rockets then? No, they're not. So they're holding onto that very nicely. The wings. the wings are in fact getting in the way of that, so we are going to have to go to 2. Yeah, we're going to try that. Okay, that's enough prattling around. Rooster Mark 1, let's save that. Thank you very much for the name, and let's hit the launch pad. And I know I'm going to have to adjust the staging, aren't I? Because I didn't put the enhancers in the correct stage. So they're going to drop and throw the rocket straight down to the deck. So, with full throttle, Valentine in the cockpit, SAS on, we'll start the gravity turn early as normal, and see where we get to. Rooster in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift off, and that's worked quite nicely. Let's bring our engine thrust down a little. Shouldn't have thrust limited those by the looks of that. Really shouldn't have done. They are not gaining us a lot of speed very quickly, and I have in fact neglected to turn us over. And I didn't change the controls. For how I control it, so I'm still on spaceplane controls, so that just didn't work. So we're going to revert right back to vehicle assembly. I'm going to pause the video very quickly and change my controls and come back again. I'm really sorry. Back in a sec. Hello everybody and welcome back. We'll start that again. Nothing's changed. As you can see, I didn't even fix the staging. Whoops. Kept everything limited. I think we'll probably do better taking them off, but we're going to do this anyway. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off! And slowly we get off the launch pad. Let's start this gravity turn over a little bit early. I think we might have had a little bit of a wobble or something from the lift off, because that didn't go very effectively. Oh, I didn't have the thing at full throttle, did I? No, I didn't. I didn't start with the engine at full thrust, which is not ideal, because now our gravity turn isn't working very well. As you can see, this rocket is shaking quite a bit. It's quite tall, which I think is probably what's having the effect on it. We are starting to gain a nice little bit of speed, which is good. Yeah, we'll just see how this goes. We're not doing too bad. We've turned over okay. Sort of staying inside that prograde vector again as usual, as you know I like to do. Yeah, speed's increasing. It doesn't feel particularly unstable. As you can see down here in the bottom corner, the pitch, roll and yaw things, they're not really fighting too hard. Touch wood, and I am touching wood, and not a euphemism again, folks. They're not having to fight too hard to try and keep the aircraft steady, or keep the rocket steady. Bit of a wobble there. Let's get that up to full power and get those off. We haven't actually lost any speed yet either, which is wonderful. But we do have a massive stability issue. You can see this rocket is wobbling like crazy. That's not a good place for this rocket to be. And also I don't think we're actually turned over as far as we should be, but we should be able to fix that quickly, although it does mean we're not going to have kept the same amount of speed as we perhaps could have done. No, yeah, we didn't turn over quick enough. But who knows, that might mean that our altitude is quite nice when it comes to actually, you know, getting our orbit sorted. I am punching before our prograde vector in the hopes to try and bring it across. In fact, I'm going to flip to map view because I'm not quite so sure. Okay, yeah, that's it. There we go. That's good. Let's burn on that prograde vector. Let's keep that going, and we'll cut that off when it gets to about 77 again, just so that we can hit our orbit. Now, I don't think we're going to have enough fuel in this stage to hit orbit, which was my plan, which is a shame, but no, is what it is. Let's just go back and have a quick look. Yeah, very, very little fuel left. But although not, as I said, the best example of a gravity turn, hasn't actually worked out all that shabby, has it? Let's be honest. In fact, let's just burn off the last of that fuel. Let's just do that. And I mean, look at that wobble. That's just disgraceful. So those two are now nicely separated. Why is that saying we have no liquid fuel? Liquid fuel and oxidizer. Liquid fuel and oxidizer. What the... Oh, look what I did. Would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen, I have literally just jetted... Oh my god, I bet some of you watching this saw that as well. I bet you're sat there screaming at me from that whole last launch going, what are you doing, Ben, you gigantic tit? You've got that all wrong. So, a failed gravity turn, failed construction, and this would... I could just abort this, bring it down, would lose the money. Bugger to it. Let's go to the vehicle assembly and fix that. Right, I'm going to fix that mistake, double check everything again, and then I'll get us back up into the same position quickly, and I will bring the video back in then rather than have to make you watch all of that. That flew quite well. I was really pleased with how that flew. Didn't get the gravity turn right, as I mentioned, but yeah, on the whole, that was quite nice. We could be onto something here, folks. We really could. I'm going to leave it limited exactly as it was, because that's worked out quite nicely. Yep, so I'll make the changes to that, and I shall be back shortly. Okay, just going to bring it back in here really quickly just to show you. I've also added a couple of struts, one from the bottom of the nipples there onto this fuel cell, and then one, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, there we go, look, from there on both sides, just up there, just to see if it adds a little bit more stability and stops that wobble. So, yeah, show you the lift off, stop the video, and we'll be back again in a second. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off! So, yeah, I'll be back in a second once we manage to get this back up to where we were. Okay, so I think we're pretty much at the same stage. This worked a lot better this time, so we're going to eject this stage. What is going on here? Okay, not really sure what I did there, folks. As you can tell, it was wrong. I guess I must have accidentally kept the top decoupler on. Not all that sure, just wasted a bit of fuel, which is a shame. But we're here, look, we've got a nice Apple Apps, very nice 95,000. I'm going to pause the game here quickly because I'm going to show you something new. I don't know if you've noticed, but our line here is blue. Never used to be that, just used to be grey, it just used to show our trajectory. Now this is what we've got by updating the mission control and updating the tracking station. We now have something called conics, or patch conics, or whichever you want to ever call them, and this means we can now start doing something called maneuver nodes. Now I've waited a while to show you this because it's not confusing. It's just I wanted to give you a good idea of what you could do without it. But I can get to the moon without these. I can get to Minimus without these, without any difficulty whatsoever. It's not difficult to do. But that's because I've been playing it for ages and I know what I'm doing. Well, sort of. Yeah, videos don't really show that, but anyway. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a maneuver node. Let's call them maneuver nodes. As you see, if you look carefully, when I scroll over this blue line, a little blue circle appears. Okay, and when you click on that, you'll be able to add a maneuver. And I didn't know you could do this when we were in pause, which is, yeah, not working. That's good. That's good. We don't want it to work. Let's get rid of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a maneuver in. Now, this maneuver will be to get us into orbit. Okay, that's what we want to do. We're going to create the first maneuver to get us into orbit. So we're going to resume flight, and I'm just going to go straight to it, and I need to be fast. We click on here. It's not the best way to show you. These are our prograde and retrograde markers. We pull out our prograde marker until we get the orbit that we want. I mean, that's a massive orbit, and I should have done this a better way. Alright, I'm going to pause this again. So you see there, all I did was click on, in fact I'm just going to do it and then I'll talk through it once we're in orbit, because we've only got down here, as you can see, 20 seconds to get to, or 20 seconds before that node comes up. So I'm just going to do this. I'm really sorry this is a bit shabby. I'm going to do this and then I'll talk you through on one. So I managed to cut the video off. We're in exactly the same place. I'll continue where I talk it. I'm going to just get us into orbit quickly, and then I will talk through maneuver nodes and how they work. So because 1 minute 18 seconds, right, we're just going to burn that straight away and get on. And I don't know if you noticed, but we have here a little blue thing behind our prograde vector, and that is our target vector, and that is what we want to be sticking to fulfill the maneuver node. As you see here, this number going down, this is our delta V. This is how many meters per second we're traveling, and to achieve the orbit we needed around, I think it's 2,270 meters per second, or delta V, and to get there. And this is showing how much time there's left on the ban, and this is showing how much more delta V we need, and this obviously is the amount of fuel we have. So probably not enough fuel in this to maybe not enough fuel in this to get us to land on the moon, but we're going to give it a go. So we're just creating our orbit now, and I will go and talk through the maneuver nodes. Complete hatchet job of this. I'm not scripted, I don't write this down. I do this because I am enjoying doing this. I don't do this because I want to have loads of people say, oh, he's really good at this or anything. I've just, like I said before, I've watched videos for ages. I absolutely love watching people do videos, and I figured I'd do it for myself. So we're nearly in orbit, 200 meters a second to go. You should notice the camera will change in a second to say welcome to orbit, or not. Yep, there you go, there's the camera changing to say we're now in orbit, and yeah, that's it. We've now got an orbit, a stable orbit around Kerbal, and we do have a little bit of fuel left in here, 191 units of fuel. Possibly not enough for our transfer, but we shall see. Anyway, there we go, look at that, first time, straight up into orbit. We have a periapsis of 65,000, which isn't enough, so we need to increase that. We could have just clearly gone screaming back down. What's going on here? Why is a... Crikey, I nearly made a massive balls at them. Not sure why that did that. I think it's because I burnt too late from the manoeuvre node. I didn't burn enough in front. Yeah, I didn't burn when we were coming into orbit. I didn't burn far enough ahead of our apoapsis, so we actually fell past our apoapsis. As you can see, we wasted a hell of a lot of fuel there, and that's on me. That's because I didn't do it properly, and I panicked, and I didn't allow myself enough time. So essentially, I think actually, even with the fuel we've got left, this could be a good lander. This could be a good enough unit to get us over to the moon and back again. Notice I'm started to say moon now rather than moon. I'm going to make that mistake all the time, so yeah, I apologise. So let's get back to these manoeuvre nodes. As I was saying, if you click, go over the blue line, you see a little circle appears. You click it and click add manoeuvre. Okie doke. Now, I'll show you this as much or best as I can. We have here 6 buttons to choose from. We have prograde, we have retrograde, we have normal and anti-normal, and we have radial, and I think it's anti-radial. I don't think they really went to town on it. I'm pretty sure you can guess what all these do. This will thrust us in this direction, so we'll change our course accordingly. So let's just have a quick go at this. If we push our prograde vector out, you can see there our apoapsis is rising. Yeah. Alternatively, you can also drag it in to bring it back the other way. Okay, it does it a little bit slower than it would if you grab the retrograde and pulled that out fully. Yeah, you see that? So prograde and retrograde, pull the prograde and it moves this out like so. If we go on to normal and anti-normal, if we pull that one out, look, changes our plane. Yeah, so we can spin off at different orbits. It'll also have a massive effect on this. So if we pull retrograde, we will be able to plane change like so, and still keep a almost similar periaps and apoaps from the orbit that we've already got. And then if we use the radial buttons and we push, I think that's, yeah, you can see what that does. Radial and anti-radial, sorry. I'm not 100% sure how they work. I've used them a few times just to make some minor adjustments, but come back. Oh, I've just deleted it. Oh well, maybe I put too much into it, I'm not sure. So let's put another one out here and have a play with these. Now I encourage you to play with these yourself. I haven't used radial and anti-radial all that much. If I have a quick look on the map to see if I can see what's going on here. What have I done? All kinds of buttons being pressed. No, they're not going to appear, are they? No. I thought they did. I thought they all appeared. Perhaps it's to do with that. No, there they are. Look, there they are. Okay, so there's that. So if that's the normal, it'd be quite funny if I've been saying all this and it's actually anti-normal. Where's radial going to be? I can only assume then it's going to be this way. he says. No, it's not. It'll be, of course, it's only going to be there, isn't it? So that's going to thrust us that way or this way. So what that'll do, right? Okay. So if you've got the grips of this already, if you're travelling in this direction from right to left, and you burn here, you're going to push this out. Okay, now if you were to burn radially, what would happen is you would spin this and decrease it at the same time. If I give you an example of that, so add manoeuvre, let's burn radial, you'll see our orbit starts to shift. Can you see that? You see where it's shifting, and it's coming in again, and it's drawing in. So that's burning and shifting our current orbit that way, and then obviously you can do it the same again. Yeah, there you go. Briefly managed to explain what radial means. That doesn't make much sense, I know, and I do apologise for that, but you kind of get the idea. As I said, it's not something I've used a great deal of. Anyway, back to the mission at hand. After that botched explanation of how those work, I'm sure radial and anti-radial, and you obviously know about prograde and retrograde, and obviously we know that our pilot can now hold prograde and retrograde for us, because she's so clever. You see our electric charge is coming down quite rapidly, so we've just used a lot of it to manoeuvre, to control around with where we were going. What is wrong with this girl? Come on the prograde. Yeah, anyway, fine. Let's just keep that where it is and stop using electricity. I should always keep that open. So we are using a bit of electric charge. I think that's... If we turn SAS off, does that stop? Yeah, that stops completely. So if the ship's idle, it might not be a bad idea to turn your SAS off, just to save electricity. Now, we want to get ourselves out to the moon. So, oh, look at all these random things appearing. I've no idea why you can see those. It's never happened before. I've not seen it before. There's another galaxy. That's quite pretty. No, you can't see any of the others. It's just Ike showing up. Or is that? No. No, none of the others showing up. How strange. Obviously the sun. Yeah, you can see that. It was tiny one the last time that happened. Not sure why, but there we go. So what we want to do now, rambling again, is create a manoeuvre node out towards the moon. When trying to get to the moon, I'm pretty sure the idea is that you burn at a right angle to it. So if the moon is here, you want to burn out from here, exactly out, so that you'll intercept it. That's the idea. So we'll pop a manoeuvre node there, and we'll just go with a straight prograde burn and push out our apparatus towards the moon. That was the wrong button. Damn it. To be so fine controlled with it. Add a manoeuvre. Let's get to here. There we go. So you can see that more clearly. So let's push that out and slow down as we go. Oh, well, look at that. Oh my god, I hear you say. What the hell's just happened there? Well, we have in fact just encountered the moon. We have ourselves an encounter with the moon with a periaps of 480,000 litres, which is far too much. So let's grab the retrograde and pull that in again, and then grab a prograde and just push it out really gently until we find, that one we're going to crash into the moon. So I think what's happened here is I've launched a little bit too early. So if I mouse over this, as you see, the little circle just lights up. You can then adjust where the burn actually takes place. You see that? So we'll go out to here. There's a moon encounter there. We'll go out to here. Let's just push that. It's going the wrong side of the moon, isn't it? Yeah, massively the wrong. There we go. There we go. So there's a nice encounter of the moon with a periaps of 68,000. That's not too shabby at all. If we push the prograde up a bit, will it move it up or down? It's moving it down. So we're getting nice and close. Well, that's moving it further away again, isn't it? Yeah, pay attention, Ben. So there. 5,000 meters. That's a little bit too close. Let's just pull that out a bit. 4,000, a bit too close. This is actually quite lucky. I've never actually managed to get a periaps so close. So 13,000 meters. That's an absolutely fantastic periaps. It says we need a 52-second burn, which I don't think we have the fuel for. And bear in mind that's asking us to burn with the engine that we've got. So the transfer stage is 834.5 meters per second of delta V that we need to gain to get ourselves into that position. And actually keeps quite a nice flat trajectory there as well. One of our missions is to fly by the moon. So even if we can't land on it, I'll make an evaluation when we get there. Even if we can't land on the moon, let's have a go at doing the flyby at least, collecting some of the the data from around there and see where we get to. I'm pretty sure this video is probably getting quite long, so I'm going to end this episode here, but don't panic, the next one will follow straight away. I'm just going to go and have a cup of coffee, come back and record the next part of this video. I'm really sorry about the botched explanation. I feel quite bad about how I've explained maneuver nodes and what they do, but yeah, I'm sure most people will be able to figure out. If you can't, leave a comment, tell me I'm a tit, and I will do a bit more work on them and hopefully use them a bit more effectively next time. I hope you're pleased with the rooster. It's been a good rocket, went straight up, really pleased with that, especially with the gravity turn working quite nicely. Not exactly 100%, but still nicely, a lot more fuel efficient than the last one we tried. So yeah, leave the video there. I will be back shortly. I hope you've enjoyed. I've been BRG, and thank you for watching. I shall see you all later.